Hi guys, welcome to yet another episode of Proverbs of Profit with myself, Unonumiso. And you know I never rock alone. I never rock alone. I'm with my brother, Hambantod.
Hello everyone, Ngirais and Face. Ngirais, how are you?
I'm fresh.
For sure. So yes, today guys, talking about cryptocurrency, what it is, what it's about, our personal stories, if any, the data that we know, and just how to take this whole thing that is so massive and try to like simplify it for you guys so that we can all learn and get better and probably even buy some. Okay. So what is crypto? What do you know? Why do we use it? Why do we need it? That's what we're gonna get into. But to start it.
Sure.
Sure.
So I like to simplify these concepts. I think from the previous episodes, people have kind of gauged the fact that I like simplifying it.
Word.
The best way to kind of go about it, right?
Sure.
Cryptocurrency is digital money.
Word.
First, understand that concept. It is money, but it is digital.
Sure.
So, let's say I want to send or receive money. I will need a third-party institution to facilitate that, right? Sure. Let's say I want to send imali to Upiwebo. Okay, I have 1,000 rands and I want to transfer it to you. I'll go to my Capitec app. I'll transfer 1,000 rands.
Yeah.
What Capitec will do is that it will subtract 1,000 rands from my account, and then it will add 1,000 rands to Usanele's account.
Word.
Now we've transacted. So with crypto literally disrupted that whole entire system, because as long as I have a crypto wallet and Usanele has a crypto wallet, we can transact. It's literally a peer-to-peer transaction.
Sure.
That's what it does. So a cryptocurrency works on this thing called the blockchain.
Sure.
So the blockchain is a digital ledger. And we'll learn to conceptualize that. It's an amazing technology, because what it did, it introduced the concept of decentralization. So it removes the middleman.
Word.
Like in that example, the middleman is Capitec. It removes that,
Sure.
because literally this blockchain works on the fact that if I send money to Upiwe, this blockchain will record that transaction in a literal block.
Okay.
And it creates a chain of these blocks.
Okay.
But I don't want us to dive deep into that because it can be a bit confusing, especially because of the fact that we're trying to simplify this thing as much as we possibly can.
Okay. So
right?
so basically it's like a software that helps with integrity, that also helps like remove banks, because like for a lot of us that read Rich Dad Poor Dad, we know how evil banks are, especially for the middle class, like people like us. Nobody loves the bank. And so basically what a ledger does and what this blockchain does, it removes the bank and takes that role to then say, hey, this is who added money to your accounts, and this is and to her, this is how much left your account. So that's what it does, but it does it swiftly.
And okay, it's transparent, and it's when we send money, like I transfer money to Upiwa's account, I don't see the process. I don't even know how the bank is doing it. But this blockchain is very nothing. It's as long as you are in that blockchain network, you are able to look into that. It's there for you to see who's transacting. It might not necessarily tell you who's exactly, but you just nothing. It's there. You'll understand it if you know what we're talking about.
Okay, cool.
Again, I don't want us to dive into blockchain, because that will kind of make this go like all over.
But obviously go do your own research and get deeper understanding of what the blockchain is, right?
For sure. And a lot of people, especially when you speak about crypto, because a lot of people understand crypto from like headlines. So they think it's such a far-fetched idea. Literally, how we transact as humans has always evolved through the years.
That's true.
Back in the day, people used to use this system called buttering.
Word.
If I have a farm in Nkuku that has chickens, and Usanele has a farm that has goats, and let's say Bafana has a farm that has cows, I can come with like people back then came with 2 chickens, and I'll give you 2 chickens, give me a goat.
Sure.
You give me a goat, you take your 2 chickens. When I'm away Bafana, you present 2 goats with Kalagata. There are 2 goats, give me a cow. So that was like the first example of people exchanging. And that kind of transferred or evolved to the gold and silver, because using the system of bartering became tricky to kind of quantify with what's a fair trade.
Sure.
That's
true.
So people, like, it evolved to gold and silver.
Word.
Even that kind of had to evolve because of the fact that even though now they had these precious metals, it became tricky. Even carrying like a bar, I don't know whether people have seen physically a bar gold, but it is heavy. It wasn't feasible anymore to use that like way of transacting.
For sure.
That evolved to paper money, which is something that we are all kind of familiar with, because it's not, let's say I take out paper 100 rand, I give you this piece of paper and you give me something in return. Maybe let's say Shoprite, I give Shoprite if it's 200 rand, so that's another way of exchange. But right now, where we currently are is we're on the online era. Why am I showing that? Because I'm a young person, especially our generation. It's a fact, Guti. We don't necessarily use too much cash, actually. You want to buy a KFC situation, you use your phone, you pay, they come to you. You have nothing, we pay for everything online. So it's not already, our generation is not even attached to fiat money, like fiat currency paper,
as much as the previous
exactly. When I try to when I try to tell my mom about cryptocurrency, she can't understand it because she understands fiat money. But me, because of the fact like I'm growing up in an era of online transacting, I don't necessarily have an attachment to fiat money. So we are already kind of we are now in real life, like experiencing a change of currency in real life. So it's not necessarily that far-fetched from us. It's just that it requires us doing the necessary research in terms of just understanding this thing fully.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like for me, I would love to just like, before even getting into like why we should probably think about adopting it and buying it, as I am, as probably she is as well, but like it's very normal. It's very normal. In fact, South Africa globally is in the top 10 of the countries that own crypto. Imagine that. We South African people are involved more than any other African country, more than some European countries. We are there interacting with it. In fact, statistically, 5.8 million in this country of people own crypto. The 77% of the owners are middle class. 83% of the people are 18 to 44 years old. So basically what that means is you probably might know somebody who owns some or knows it. So this is not some taboo thing for us, because we are willing to learn. We are the generation that is angry at how things are going on. We're the generation that wants to do things differently, and we dare to do it by how? By owning some of this crypto. And so that's why we want to do it. And obviously it is a couple of reasons. It is a couple of reasons, like trusting a bank.
Yeah.
We now feel unsafe trusting a bank. But why? I'll give an example with a guy called Michael Saylor. Please, I'll put up a picture, but go look him up. So he bought a crib in 2012. He bought it for 14 million. When he bought the crib for 14 million back in Miami, that's his way. He bought it in Miami. He bought it for 14 million. Made Senga for 14 million.
Sure.
Asked the previous owner, how much was it? The guy's like, hey, I bought the crib in 1930. It was 100,000. So I want you to think about that. 100,000 to 14 million. And then he later sells it for 50 in 2020, I think. He sells it for 50 million. So there's not even a giant gap of the number of years between the two.
Bro.
For it to go to 100,000 to 14 million to 50.
Yeah.
And then we're asking yourself, okay, but what does that have to do with crypto? That has to do with crypto because it means then, is the house appreciating, or is the value of the money losing? Is the money losing its value?
Yeah.
That cannot be any normal appreciation. That's the money losing its value. You remember buying bread with just 10 bucks,
bro,
at some point,
Don't.
right? You remember buying it for 12 rand at some point.
Yeah.
But somehow you just go to a shop. I was buying bread at convenience store. I understand convenience store are ridiculous, but I bought it for 21 rand. At what point are we buying bread for 21 bucks? And that's exactly what that means. Is it appreciation? Probably not. It means then that the money the rand has lost its value. It means, obviously, in Michael Saylor's situation of the house, it means that the dollar has lost its value. But why would the dollar lose its value? Let me tell you why.
Sure.
So let's say, for instance, I'm America, she's South Africa.
Sure.
She borrows money. She borrows money from me.
Yeah.
Right?
South Africa.
She's like, look, dude, we have a problem. We don't have enough vaccinations for our people. We need to get people vaccinated. I need $1 billion.
Money.
I'm like, I bet. There you go.
Sure.
I want it in 10 years. Here's the deal. She will buy these vaccinations from wherever. But also, she wants to give people grant because people are at home.
Yeah.
And people are at home. People are going to get angry. People are going to go to the streets and start seeing the nonsense the government is doing.
Sure.
People are hungry also. There's a lot of things. She might say, oh, look, man, I need another $1 billion. Just feed my people. I'm like, I bet.
350 to balance the situation.
I give her another $1 billion. I'm like, dude, I need this one in 15. It's all good.
Sure.
Time goes by. She can't pay.
Yeah.
What does she do? She prints more money. She's like, you know what? Guys, in the whole of South Africa, the money circulation is probably 70 billion. But in order for us to pay America, let's print more money.
Yeah.
And then start printing more money. But the thing about it is, I want you to think about this logically. I want to make like a very simple example.
Yeah. I'm printing money.
We are a country, right?
Yeah.
Let's say a country made up of 5 people. I give everybody $100, right? Everybody $100. I have a teddy bear, right? Sure. I have a teddy bear.
Sure.
This teddy bear is $50.
Sure.
Everybody can afford.
Yeah.
But because everybody has $100, I'm like, no, everybody has it. Let me up the price.
Sure.
It's gonna be $70.
Yeah.
And all 5 of us are gonna be like, okay, cool. Is my girl really worth that much for me to just take $70 out of 100 to buy it? And then the government goes, no, I'm gonna give you one more 100 rand. And then everybody has an extra $100. So that means now everybody's at 200 rands. What does that mean then? Everybody can afford this now, right? I'm like, nah.
Up it goes.
Let me up the price again because everybody has it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in countries like Zimbabwe, where Robert Mugabe was like, you know what? They sanctioned it, like all these other European countries, America, Great Britain, they're all sanctioning us. They're all giving us penalties. It's cool. We'll give everybody money. When everybody got money, the money's value dropped drastically. And that's when you saw people pushing a whole lot of notes in wheelbarrows. I'm going to put up pictures. People were pushing money in wheelbarrows. People had money in bags just to buy a loaf of bread. So, not in that extreme situation, but to some extent, that's what happens when the government has to print money. They were pushing stimulus checks in America where it was COVID. They gave people money. Where did they get their money from? They printed it. The money lost its value. And that's why there's things like massive inflation where prices are inflated because the money's in circulation. It's ridiculous. But how do we hedge that? But who also is responsible for that? Because the government tells the bank, look, man, this is what we're going to print. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
The banks go, cool. We're gonna increase the interest rate or something like that. So that's why, guys, when we're talking about crypto, we eliminate the government's, corruption that makes them go, let's print more money.
Facts.
We eliminate the bank's corruption that says, you know what, let's just decrease the interest rate so that when they save money, they're not going to make as much as they were supposed to make.
And just to add on that fact, is the fact about these countries, let's say that, I like speaking about South Africa just to give you guys context.
Sure.
We about 350 we gave people 350 as South Africa, okay, clean. But no value was added into the economy. There were no jobs. People weren't, like, entrepreneurship was not like on like level 5. There was no value, so it couldn't equate to the fact why is there more money circulating in the country when there is no value that kind of it doesn't correspond. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. So.
But here's another problem then, guys. The problem then starts with us saying, look, man, the whole world agreed. We're gonna exchange in dollars. why is that so bad? It's bad because the American government printed more money during COVID. 40% of the money in circulation in America was printed right after COVID. If you understand what that truly means, it's very alarming. Because it means, because here's what happens. Countries have gold, right? Because they have 50 million worth of gold, for an example. They have 50 million worth of gold in the vaults, in the banks, in the reserve bank where they print the money. They say, okay, we have 50 million worth of gold. Let's print 50,000 worth of notes. The notes just represent what's in the vaults. That's it. Here's when the problem starts. The problem starts when there's only 50 million in a vault and they print 100 million here. What does that mean with the rest of the money? Doesn't that money that's in circulation supposed to be represented by the gold in a vault? What does that mean then? It means then some of these notes are not represented by anybody. We're just transacting with them, but they have lost its value. They have no value. The problem is when I have to trade with Russia, I have to do it in dollars. When I have to trade with Zimbabwe, I have to do it in dollars. This dollar that we all have agreed on is the standard, has lost its value. Then what are we going to do then? Do we continue to trust these people? No, that's why it is here. The dollar's losing its value. But not only in the case of printing money. There's something called BRICS, made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Those people, recent meeting have decided, we're going to come together. We're going to make our own new currency. What does that mean for the dollar that we all use? What does it mean for them? It'll lose even more value and more relevance, right? Right now, recently, China and Russia chose like, hey guys, we're going to use the Chinese yuan to transact with each other. Because Russia and China, obviously, they always had this beef with America. They're choosing to use their own currency. What does that mean?
Losing relevance?
Right? Saudi Arabia wants to come to BRICS. Argentina wants to come to BRICS. Egypt wants to come to BRICS. There's a whole lot of countries. Turkey's, UAE. What does that mean for the dollar? That has always been the standard. That has always been the cool money. What does it mean for it? It loses value. So you're happy in the midst of all this chaos, in the midst of all these new currencies, and us like, no, let's use that one. No, let's use that one. What does it mean for us? Also, countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and China all started to come into Africa because they're like, you know what? America has always said they want to come here and help, but they haven't been helping. We're gonna come and have real value for these people. And to be honest, as an African man, America has always been around. What have they done? What has France really done for all these countries that still have possession over? I'll give the Chinese people a shot because even my politicians sometimes are very disappointing, right? So they come here, they take certain stuff from us because we're broke. But they're willing to even have a conversation with us on the table, which is something America doesn't want. Who do you think I'm going to transact with then? And in the midst of all this chaos and the dollar losing its relevance, emerges cryptocurrency.
We need something to fall on.
We need something to fall on. We need something to agree on. It's okay if I feel to, this is the value that we're going to agree on. And that's why, for me, I feel like if you haven't looked it up, if you haven't, took the time to rethink about like, how is this gonna affect me? Why do I care as a middle class person? It affects you. It affects you because your salary doesn't change. Right? But the price of bread does though. The price of petrol, it does though. How are you gonna hedge that? How are you gonna be at a better financial position? Look, man, the fact that you're sitting here and having this conversation means that you're concerned about your financial life. If you want to improve it, why not learn? Why not go deep into it? You feel me? And that's why crypto is important. But now I feel like we should go into like our personal experiences on crypto, and like which ones you feel like you want to hold in the future or you want to hold more of. Do you own any?
Before we get into that, I feel like it's important to kind of give people a brief understanding of why we're saying, because if you understand what we just translate. So there are different types of cryptocurrencies, right? There's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's Cardano, there's Litecoin, there's Ripple, there's Polkadot, there's Monero. There's a bunch of cryptocurrencies, and different cryptocurrencies literally have different usage cases,
Sure,
right?
sure.
So it's not it right now it hasn't, because a lot of people are speculating that it's going to all come into one and then it's just going to be one big thing, right?
Word.
But currently right now,
Word.
if Bitcoin, okay, I'll just swiftly go past the different usage cases, right?
Word.
For instance, if Bitcoin is treated as, it's the grandfather of all cryptocurrencies, so it's treated as digital gold, because a lot of people buy Bitcoin not to transact but to keep it because it grows in value.
Sure.
So it's digital gold. Litecoin is digital silver.
Sure.
It works exactly the same way as Bitcoin.
Sure.
And then there's Ethereum, which is the second largest cryptocurrency. It's the most common because of the fact that its usage case is like the most normal one. Let me just say that. Okay. It facilitates these things called smart contracts. Even though I would like to kind of go into these things deeply, for now I just want to graze over it just to give you a clear picture. It facilitates smart contracts, which are like buying and selling of NFTs. I want to learn these things like DeFi. I know if you've more or less heard about cryptocurrency, you've heard about these terms. There's Cardano. Cardano is it's actually founded by the co-founder of Ethereum. The owner claims it's better than Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's faster than Bitcoin and safer than Ethereum, right? Sure. There's things like Ripple. There's cryptocurrencies like Ripple, because Ripple is like, it's kind of the best of both worlds, because it is, as much as it is supposed to be decentralized and it works on the blockchain, but a lot of institutions are backing it, which means even though it's decentralized, it's also very much centralized. So if you want that safety as a person, I don't necessarily want to just be in control with my money like completely. I still need that stability that comes with these centralized systems. Ripple is the coin for you. There's coins like Binance Coin, because as much as the cryptocurrency is literally currency, you can also trade it. So Binance Coin facilitates that. So there are different types of cryptocurrencies. So that when we say what we hold, it's not necessarily completely confusing to you guys.
Also, like, before you even go there, dude, I feel like, I'm just thinking in my head right now, like, someone would say, okay, cool, now that this money that they're making is not real and it's lost its value, I just want to own gold. But here's the deal about it, right? I just want to own gold, which is going to be my value of how, because like the money misrepresents the gold that they have in a vault. I want to own the direct gold. You can, but you'll have the certificate for it. The bank still owns it. Many times in Japan, the government has seized and took gold from a citizen. Winston Churchill, in the times of war, took gold from its citizens, right? You might say, I Betsky, then I want to own property. How am I gonna, my daughter who one day will go to Scotland and study, how will I be able to give her something out of that property that is maybe in somehow? And this is why Bitcoin is there. It's swift, it is incredibly fast, you can transact to anybody anywhere. If you own property, there'll be rain, there'll be painting, there'll be tax from the government in Santon. There'll be all these things that are there. Earthquake, God could be like, so much with a disaster, right? I'm not saying they come from God, but I'm saying like things happen, right? And this is why we have this thing called Bitcoin, which is on a software, which travels quickly, which many African countries are already in Bitcoin, which is what I obviously love. And what we as South African own most, right, is Bitcoin. This is why we stand behind it. Because you can have your gold, sure, but how are you going to transport it to Turkey, to your daughter who's there?
Facts.
Do you know how much it is to transact gold? And it's massily crazy expensive.
It's not feasible, man. For the average person, it's not feasible.
Exactly. See, now we're average person.
Yeah,
boo. That's why we're here. By the way, before I even continue, she said something about bartering and how 2 chickens and a goat. That's unfair, bro. Nah, bro, it's mad unfair, bro. But nah, I get it. It's beautiful to see how we've been like evolving, even not even about like, you know, money. When you think about like education, you know, and like and what things were dominating at a certain time. There's a certain time where real estate was a thing. There's a certain time where economics was the thing to be studied in schools. There came a time where philosophy dominated the world.
Yeah.
And as we change in academia, and as we change also in how we transfer money in the internet, who thought the internet would be what it is today?
Facts.
People didn't believe in it. The internet. But now, as a guy in South Africa can reach someone in El Salvador,
bro,
you feel me? Just by posting a video.
Lab.
Just by posting a video.
Sure.
It's the Bitcoin country. Just by posting a video on YouTube.
Sure.
Right? So definitely. Now let's talk about us and our personal experiences and all that. Wanna go first?
Yeah, I think Alan fits. I think we all understand what Bitcoin is like the currency to hold. So I own majority of my crypto portfolio is literally Bitcoin. But I also dabble and dabble because I have a strategy in everything I do in terms of investing or anything finance wise. I always focus on the top 4 of everything. If it's stocks, I'll focus on the top 4 that I think the top 4. So I own a lot of Bitcoin.
Sure.
And then literally like almost this like the other 3 coins combined will make like 20% or something.
Sure.
So it's Bitcoin majority, Ethereum, Cardano, and Litecoin.
Sure.
These are my 4 cryptocurrencies. This one for sure, it's because of the availability, digital gold, of course. Second, the Ethereum, I believe in what it's actually going to do. Cardano is actually literally almost the same thing, and this is my personal opinion, I feel like it is better than Ethereum because it's thought out. And then there's Litecoin, which was peer pressure, but I kind of I understand now.
Sure. Obviously, okay, cool. I own Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's it. But I have owned Dogecoin. I have bought some Dogecoin. I sold it. I made a massive loss because Elon Musk made me buy Dogecoin. If you notice, actually, right now, the icon for Twitter, he changed. It's not the bird anymore. It's a dog. It's a Dogecoin. It's a Dogecoin logo. So that, like, he's the reason why I bought Dogecoin, but I sold it because I made like a massive loss. I've owned Ripple. I've made a massive loss. I've owned Ethereum. I also did make a loss because, like, I bought it when it was like at the peak, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we spoke about on our previous episode where we were talking about how we buy low and sell high.
Sure.
I bought out of pressure high.
Yeah.
Even my Bitcoin.
Sure.
I still own Bitcoin, but it's at a loss. But I'm holding it forever, right? Meaning that I'm still, and I vastly believe that it go up. It's not a big amount of Bitcoin that I do own, if I'm being honest. But, you know, I'm always working towards the fact that, okay, cool, how can I generate money to own more Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Like, personally, right now, just like Michael Saylor, I'm all the way full throttle. So I'm that type of guy. I'm an extremist, right? So if I would start a business right now, I would keep the money that the business owns in Bitcoin.
Sure.
That's how much of a believer I am in Bitcoin. And by the way, man, before even like, we're not delusional. We know almost every time you see the word scam, it might 90% of the time be next to Bitcoin. We know. Like, that's what happens in everything. Even when the internet, which is a real thing right now, it's obviously an everyday thing. Before it even got introduced, scammers already adopted it.
Facts.
There's NFTs. Scammers already adopted NFTs before NFTs were NFTs. And it's the same thing with Bitcoin and all these cryptocurrencies. Whole lot of scammers. Don't believe anyone who says get 2 for the price of 1. Don't believe anyone who says I'll keep it for free. Don't believe anyone who says just like let's meet up and don't, because scammers are there. Don't believe anyone who says you get it for free, click this link. Don't buy any of it, right? Because that's like, scammers are the early adopters of everything.
Facts.
AI, best believe there's guys out there working overtime to understand AI
people,
so that they can scam people. So like, they always start first, and that's what happens with every industry. But with enough learning, with enough research, you guys can obviously profit off it. And that's what we do. We profit over information that is there for free. Right? I think that's it.
Yeah, for me, before we close this
Sure.
off, because I don't want it to be too long and kind of confuse you guys.
Word.
The only real reason why we are always afraid of new concepts is the fact that we don't have a vision for our lives. At some point, I like being honest. I think one of the most the conversations that I enjoy the most are honest conversations.
Sure.
We need to our counterparts now. I'm black.
Sure.
It's very difficult to speak to another black person about a 10-year plan.
Word.
We are only afraid of these things because we don't have a vision for it. We are afraid because of the fact we know that our counterparts will learn about it, and then we will be again trapped in the same cycle of we're gonna get the short end of the stick because we are not willing to actually take part in this thing early. As much as early adopters are scammers, but also early adopters are controllers. The faster, the faster you learn about something, you can position yourself to be able to win. And I feel like I say the position yourself to be able to win a lot of times because I know for a fact in a world that gives trophies to participators, people are okay with not being okay.
Word.
People, we've kind of romanticized this thing of struggling.
Word.
We know how to move around it. We know how to create We are so dog.
Sure.
Shout out to everybody, but I'm just saying, we know how to romanticize being struggling.
Sure.
It's about time we take part in something that's new. We get in early as other people are doing,
Word.
so that we don't cry 10 years from now. Because a lot of people I know, especially when you touch the subject of crypto, are bro, it's a scam. Okay, clean. 10 years from now, between me and you, and you know what a lot of people were gonna say? We got left behind. You didn't, bro. If in 10 years and you watched this, or you've heard about crypto, or you even have a phone with internet, if you're in the same position, you did that. It's all you.
Facts. And I remember I saw a reel of myself saying that nobody cares, go to work.
Sure.
It sounded really rough. It's not that people don't care. She could tell me right now she lost $1 million.
Sure.
I'm like, man, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna be straight, bro. I'm gonna affirm her, dog, because she's smart, right? She gonna make it again. But here's why I don't care. I can't take it back. I can't bring back the $1 million.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about man, people don't care. It's not that people don't care, bro. We know we have people that love you.
Sure.
But you're gonna might have to go buy the pills yourself if you're sick. You're gonna unfortunately have to be the one that learns and stays in a room, right? And sacrifice certain relationships.
It's facts.
Right? Because I will say to you when you're all dog, you know what I'm saying? I understand, bro. God, God has pan down for you too. But the thing about it is, I'll say that and leave, bro.
It doesn't matter.
Do I really care if I don't help, if the situation doesn't change?
Facts.
Truly, then it means no. Messi had to take it upon himself to be what he is today. Kylian Mbappe had to take it upon himself to be what he is today.
Facts.
Jordan, all these people.
LeBron.
So humbly, bro. Man to man, we're all trying to change and be better.
Facts.
Please, it's up to you. Take it up to yourself to you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna take it I'd be the first millionaire at home.
Facts.
And guess what? All of us will do that. To those of us that come from places where there's no millionaires, we will be the first and we will tell the story. And when you tell the story, we'll tell them, look, man, we put in the work to profit.
Facts.
We studied the proverbs of the people who came before, and we profited off of it.
Woo.
And that's what I want to leave you guys with.
Clean.
Until next time.
Yeah, man.
Peace out, guys.
You did.